Welcome back to my dark corner of this sick world.
You don't want to go in there, sir?
This week's review is Lifeforce, a sci-fi gothic mashup directed by the late Tobe Hooper. And what could be wrong with that? It's a canon film.
Houston, we have a problem.
Never a good sign.
We can't know that, but we've got to assume the worst.
That said, of all their exploits into the cheap, the tacky and the blatantly ripped off, Lifeforce is one of the more entertaining.
There are 2 nude males and 1 female.
And not just because it largely centres around Matilda May's never-ending search for clothing.
Phone 9 to control. You'll never believe what I'm looking at.
At the start, this is an alien clone.
I hope you can appreciate the scale of this in the video.
It would be unfair to say rip-off since they're both written by Dan O'Bannon.
I almost have the feeling I've been here before.
But rather than a slimy face-hugger attaching itself to John Hurt's face, we have a sexy alien. Making it closer to another alien clone, Species.
Was it sexual?
Yes, overwhelmingly so.
But the larger and more interesting influence is Dracula.
A vampire? It could be described that way, yes.
The sucking out of Lifeforce is an obvious comparison, but there's more.
They look like bats. Giant bats.
There's an asylum.
Yes, for the criminally insane.
And a gothic dream. When the lone survivor of the spaceship, Tom Carlsen, tells his story, it's very reminiscent of Dracula's journey to Whitby.
One by one, the rest of the crew begin to die.
Carlsen has some sort of psychic link to the girl.
She seems to speak to me in my dreams.
Just as Mina Harker has to Dracula in the novel, and, like Mina, Carlsen is hypnotised so they can track the vampire.
Just stare at it until your eyes feel tired.
Unfortunately, Carlsen is a much less sympathetic character than Mina.
Tell me.
No!
The vampire can inhabit other bodies, but she's not in this girl.
It's gone from her. It's in another body now.
So how can you justify this?
This woman is a masochist. An extreme masochist.
Fortunately, he's accompanied by a man from the Special Air Service who will, I'm sure, step in and stop this.
Not at all. I am a natural voyeur.
Or take a seat and watch.
Shut up!
There's also some clunky phone-splaining.
Is he hurt? Just exhausted, you say? Well, get him the hell over here.
And you go on to say that, despite this, the film features such highlights as a brief appearance from Jean-Luc Picard.
He's been naughty.
And effects created by Star Wars alums John Dykstra and Nick Malley. Which, given the budget limitations, are genuinely remarkable. In fact, up to this point, the film has been engaging enough.
How brilliant.
But then it's faced with the awesome problem of trying to make sense.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Largely achieved by characters delivering unmanageable slabs of exposition.
They jumped to the bodies of the 2 soldiers who shot them and transformed the soldiers' bodies into their own likenesses. That's the difference between them and their victims. The victims can't leave their bodies. Only the original 3 can do that. But I killed one of them.
Or sharing information they must have had an hour ago but only bring up now.
They visited Earth before.
And which they seem to have pulled out of thin air.
How do you know that?
I feel it.
But worst of all
I love you.
is the love story between Carlsen and the alien girl.
She killed all my friends and I still didn't want to leave.
And it's one of those love across the boundaries of time and space deals.
The web of destiny carries your blood and soul back to the genesis of my life form.
A plotline that has less to do with Bram Stoker's Dracula and more to do with Bram Stoker's Dracula.
It's a great pity.
That's bad enough, but it started on the spaceship.
I opened her sealed animation case. And she gave me some of her energy.
Then she killed all my mates. Then she came to Earth.
She's killed 3 people already.
Then she called her spaceship.
All those little blue lights going up toward the clouds. They're human souls.
By the end,
it's obvious that tonight, London is on the brink of the worst devastation since the Blitz.
while Carlsen is getting it on with a hot alien chick.
What are these feelings? Why do I feel so close to you?
And the movie still treats him like a hero.
It's Colonel Tom Carlsen, United States Air Force and former commander of the Churchill.
He's the one who caused all this.
Now can this madness end?
Lifeforce is a credit to Tobe Hooper that he took a script that was by turns exploitative,
Use my body,
or baffling,
Assume we know nothing.
and turned it into something entertaining.
Don't worry, a naked girl is not going to get out of this complex.
Rubbish, but entertaining.
Rather a nice touch, don't you think?
Thanks for watching. You can now support Dark Corners on Patreon. Check out this video here to learn all about the perks you could receive. Or if you just can't wait to start, click here. And you can subscribe here as normal.